Hello and welcome, Scorpio. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the real energetic aftermath of the strawberry full moon that peaked on June 12, 13. This was not just another lunar event. From an astrological standpoint, it was a highly charged moment, and many of you may already be feeling the lingering effects. This full moon brought with it a powerful amplification of emotional and sensory awareness. Occurring near the midpoint of June and in the context of a broader mutable season, this lunation didn't just light up the sky. It activated subtle but profound changes in the nervous system and energetic field. We are now in a phase of post-lunar integration, where the light of the moon has technically waned, but its energetic imprint remains strongly active within us, not around us. For many people, the effects are being felt on multiple levels. You might be noticing an unusual level of fatigue, disorientation, emotional vulnerability, or even craving unusual foods or sensations. This isn't random. Astrologically, the strawberry full moon can be seen as a high-frequency reset point, an illumination so intense that it exposed areas of misalignment, not just intellectually, but physiologically and energetically. While we often associate the full moon with culmination and visibility, this particular one functioned more like a frequency filter. It sharpened perception, disrupted outdated emotional loops, and demanded that we recalibrate the way we respond to our environment. That's why, even after the moon is no longer full, you might still feel its residue in your body and behavior. The key message here is this. If you're experiencing restlessness, internal tension, or a need to withdraw, this is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a natural part of the adjustment process that follows an intense lunar activation. The body and mind need time to catch up with the energetic shift. Your system is integrating the light not just as metaphor, but as data. In the next section, we'll explore the specific symptoms of this recalibration and why isolation, or at least intentional solitude, can be a necessary tool for rebalancing after a moon like this. Isolation after the full moon is not just optional, it's essential. In the immediate 48 hours following a highly charged full moon like the one we just experienced, intentional isolation isn't just a spiritual suggestion, it's an energetic necessity. Let's break down why. First, from a neurological standpoint, your system just went through a surge in sensory input. Full moons, especially ones with strong emotional signatures like this June lunation, function as amplifiers. They expose what's been repressed, heighten intuition, and bring unresolved emotions to the surface, both yours and those of people around you. The result is that your nervous system becomes overstimulated and your natural processing bandwidth gets maxed out. What you might interpret as feeling off, overwhelmed, or sensitive is actually your system asking for time to decompress from exposure. This is especially true if you're a water sign or have significant placements in water houses. These individuals tend to absorb lunar energy at a much deeper level. Second, astrologically speaking, full moons represent oppositions. Tensions between the sun and moon that illuminate polarities. During this strawberry moon, those polarities likely became personal. You may have found yourself confronting outdated emotional attachments, value conflicts, or relationships that no longer support your growth. Now that the moon has started to wane, your psyche needs solitude to digest what it just processed. Isolation doesn't mean avoidance. It means creating enough quiet space so that your internal feedback system, your intuition, your somatic awareness, your emotional memory can do the recalibration work that it's designed to do. Think of it as post-lunar integration. Without enough space to stabilize, you risk carrying unresolved frequencies into the next cycle. Practically, this might look like spending time offline or off social media, avoiding emotionally charged conversations, taking walks alone, journaling, or engaging in grounding routines, sleeping more, or giving yourself permission to do less. This isn't about being antisocial, it's about maintaining energetic hygiene. Your field is still highly porous after a full moon like this. Protect it while your system restructures. In the next section, we'll look at specific signs that your energy field is still integrating, such as unusual cravings, altered sleep patterns, and emotional sensitivity, and how to support yourself through them using both astrological awareness and grounded practices. In the days following the strawberry full moon, many people report subtle but persistent disruptions emotionally, physically, and energetically. These are not random anomalies, but clear indicators that your system is still undergoing a process of lunar integration. Astrologically, this full moon functioned not only as a moment of culmination, but also as a frequency recap. It exposed underlying emotional patterns and activated areas of the body-mind interface that typically operate below conscious awareness. One of the most common signs of this ongoing adjustment is altered sleep. This doesn't always present as insomnia. Instead, many are experiencing sleep that feels light, fragmented, or mentally active. You might find yourself waking up abruptly, not from external disturbances, but because your subconscious is in overdrive. Full moons often heighten access to memory, emotional recall, and dream activity. In this case, your inner processing system is working overtime to organize what the moon illuminated. If you wake up feeling like you've been busy all night, you likely have been on a psychic level. At the same time, the body is sending signals that it needs something, but not always in obvious ways. Many are noticing intense, strangely specific food cravings. Salty and citrusy flavors, bitter herbs, burnt textures, or even completely bland items may feel oddly satisfying. This is not about diet or comfort eating, it's about your body seeking energetic equilibrium. After being exposed to a sudden surge of lunar energy, the nervous system searches for grounding inputs, minerals, fats, or even textures to stabilize its response. Cravings in this context are less about hunger and more about frequency correction. Your cells are asking for what your conscious mind doesn't have language for. Emotionally, you may also find yourself far more sensitive than usual. Social interactions that used to feel neutral now feel overstimulating. Silence might feel loaded with subtext, and even casual conversations can leave you feeling drained. This is because the full moon didn't just amplify your emotions, it sharpened your perception filters. You're now picking up on micro-expressions, tonal shifts, and energetic inconsistencies in ways that bypass logic. It's not paranoia, it's heightened attunement. Your field is still porous, and your system is registering more data than it can comfortably process in real time. Another often misunderstood sign of integration is the sudden appearance of mental gaps. You might lose track of conversations, forget why you entered a room, or experience a strange mental fog. These lapses are not cognitive decline. They're a side effect of your brain prioritizing emotional data over short-term memory. Essentially, your nervous system is reordering its storage process, discarding excess noise, and preserving what has deeper emotional resonance. What's important to understand is that none of these experiences are failures or malfunctions. They're evidence of active healing. You're not falling apart, you're restructuring. After a moon this energetically invasive, your system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, slowing down, filtering, and resetting. In the next section, we'll look at the emotional release patterns that often follow, why seemingly random moments of tenderness, nostalgia, or even tears may be signs that your energetic field is detoxifying and rebalancing itself in preparation for new alignment. As the nervous system continues its recalibration, another layer begins to emerge, one that doesn't show up in thoughts, behaviors, or sleep cycles, but in spontaneous waves of emotion. It often catches people off guard. You might find yourself suddenly tearing up while watching something ordinary. You may feel a lump in your throat during an unrelated conversation, or be overcome with a strange nostalgia that doesn't have a clear origin. These aren't emotional breakdowns, they're releases. What's moving through you in these moments is not new, it's what's been stored, waiting for permission to surface. Full moons, especially those with a strong emotional signature like the one we just experienced, tend to act like psychic excavation tools. They dislodge old emotional residue, fragments of unprocessed grief, minor disappointments, past moments of longing, or goodbyes that were never fully felt. Most of the time, these emotions don't erupt as dramatic outbursts. Instead, they rise gently, almost silently, through subtle cues. They move through the body in waves, through tears, tightness in the chest, or that sensation of emotional pressure without an identifiable cause. Astrologically, this is a classic sign of energetic drainage and realignment. The moon has moved on, but the residue of what it stirred is still clearing from your field. What makes this process especially complex is that the emotions being released are often disconnected from current experiences. They belong to previous versions of you, versions that didn't get to fully process what they were carrying at the time. This is what astrologists sometimes refer to as emotional backflow. It's not regression, it's repair. You may find that certain memories resurface seemingly at random, not as thoughts, but as moods. You're not remembering events, you're remembering feelings that were never completed. The body has its own emotional memory, and after a lunar surge, that memory becomes more active. It begins to let go of what it doesn't need to carry anymore, especially the subtle emotional patterns that have shaped your choices or suppressed your intuition without you realizing it. This kind of emotional detox doesn't require intervention. It requires presence. Your job isn't to interpret or analyze what you're feeling. Your job is to stay with it, to allow it to move through without interruption or shame. The system is clearing out noise to make room for clarity. This is the moment where tears become a form of integration, where softness, not strategy, becomes the most intelligent response. As we move deeper into this phase, it's important not to mistake stillness for stagnation. What feels like quiet, like nothing happening, is often the most profound part of healing. Emotional neutrality isn't a void. It's a reset point. It's the moment between the exhale and the next inhale. And it's often in that in-between space that the first glimpses of a new alignment begin to appear. In the next section, we'll explore how this emotional clearing resets your perceptual system, how colors, light, and even the atmosphere around you may feel altered in the aftermath, not because the world has changed, but because your filters have. Once the emotional waves begin to subside, many people notice something even more disorienting. The world itself feels slightly off. It's not dramatic, it's subtle. Almost like waking up in a familiar room where something has been rearranged without your knowledge. The light seems flatter, colors feel less saturated, sound seems sharper or more hollow. These aren't sensory malfunctions. They're signs of perceptual recalibration. From an astrological lens, this happens because the full moon didn't just move emotional content to the surface. It also reset your inner filters. The way you interpret reality is deeply connected to your energetic state, and when the lunar field intensifies, your perception system, especially your sensitivity to light, tone, space, and emotional resonance, adjusts in response. What you're experiencing now is not the world changing, but your capacity to perceive it becoming more refined. In the aftermath of the strawberry full moon, you may feel like the world is underlit or overexposed, as if your senses are trying to reestablish what normal feels like. This is a direct consequence of how your nervous system processed the influx of lunar energy. During high-energy full moons, especially those occurring in mutable seasons, the brain's sensory pathways become temporarily heightened to track incoming data. Once the surge passes, those same pathways remain open, sensitive, raw, and searching for a new baseline. You might notice yourself fixating on small environmental details you would normally overlook. The flicker in a screen, the way sunlight reflects off a wall, or how loud a quiet room suddenly feels. These are cues that your system is remapping contrast and emotional tone. What used to feel balanced may now feel hollow or too much. What used to feel mundane may now evoke discomfort or overstimulation. This is not a regression, it's an update. Your inner compass is recalibrating not just emotionally, but sensorially. The most important thing you can do during this phase is allow space for this sensory readjustment to complete itself. Avoid environments that are overly stimulating, crowded rooms, excessive noise, constant media input. Instead, spend time in neutral spaces where your system can find its new equilibrium without being overwhelmed. Natural light, soft tones, and familiar routines help anchor the shifting inner perception. In time, the sharpness will soften. The world will begin to feel congruent again, not because the external changed, but because your internal filters have settled. And when they do, you'll begin to see your surroundings through a new lens, one that is more truthful, more attuned, and less cluttered with distraction. As we close this space, I want to remind you, what you're feeling right now is not disconnection, it's recalibration. You are not lost, behind, or broken. You are simply moving at the pace your system needs to integrate a profound energetic shift. The strawberry full moon did not pass without impact. It illuminated more than just the sky. It brought hidden patterns, forgotten emotions, and outdated perceptions to the surface so they could be seen, felt, and released. If things feel quieter now, let that quiet speak. If the world feels different, trust that your perception is adjusting to a more accurate frequency. And if you're not quite sure what comes next, that's okay too. This isn't a time for pushing forward. It's a time for allowing alignment to find you. In the days ahead, your clarity will return. Not all at once, but piece by piece. When it does, you'll realize this wasn't a period of confusion. It was a moment of preparation. Let this experience remind you that astrology isn't just about prediction. It's about pattern recognition, energy literacy, and self-awareness. When we understand the impact of events like this full moon, we stop labeling our responses as irrational and instead recognize them as intelligent adaptations to cosmic stimuli. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for honoring your own process. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to stay connected, subscribe, share your reflections, or simply take a quiet moment to integrate what's come up. And above all, trust the unfolding. You're not off path. You're syncing with it at a deeper level than before. Until next time, take care of your energy and take care of yourself.